Public transport continues with calls growing for inclusive design guidance from people with disability to be compulsory in planning and construction. For more, I'm joined now by Mark and Natalie Collins from a tram stop in Kew in Melbourne's east. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, I want to start with you, Mark. Tell me a little bit about what it's like trying to get around in Melbourne.
It can be quite complex, actually. I was coming home from my now wife's house and I caught a train to Richmond station and there were no trains running, so I had to get a bus, go back to a station, get a bus, wait for an accessible bus and go across the park. It was quite an ordeal just to get onto a bus that could take me.
What does it mean, Mark, for your life, the practicalities of it? I assume it's a given that you're always having to add extra time to wherever you're going.
9 times out of 10, you've got to allow for extra time. It can be quite daunting, like trying to work out your times. I missed a bus just yesterday, and if you're not at the bus stop in time, and the bus doesn't tend to wait.
Natalie, I thought we were doing so much better than what you're suggesting we are, not just in Victoria, across Australia.
Yeah, look, I think there's a number of issues and they can be both broad and very, very specific. So what we've heard from Mark is that there's inconsistent experiences. So he can't be guaranteed that when he gets on at a tram stop, the next tram stop that he gets off at is also going to be accessible. And also when he travels by train, he has to get on at behind the carriage or behind the driver, and so he relies on the driver to remember when he needs to get off. So if the driver forgets to pull out to get off and pull out the ramp for him, then he misses his stop, and so that provides a really significant issue. And we've also realised, and I guess traditionally public transport has been very siloed in its approach to infrastructure. So the bus network, the tram network and the train network. But what we realise is that people, they travel multiple modes of transport to get to work and to get home, and so we need to think more holistically about the transport network. We also have an issue where a lot of our infrastructure is very old. We have one of the largest and the oldest tram networks here in Australia, and so we have significant challenges and barriers to making that network more accessible and inclusive, not to mention a significant investment.
Mark, what difference do you think it would mean if people, when they were designing buildings, transport, access, that they're talking to people like you?
Well, it's really good with the Workframe we have at Ability Works, where inclusive design is being included into all sorts of new buildings and living spaces and spaces to use publicly. It's quite a great step forward, but with such an old network of trams and trains and buses, we do face some hurdles.
Yeah, and Natalie, just finally, your message, I guess, this morning to leave people with is to make sure they are consulting.
Absolutely. It is absolutely critical that we engage with people with disabilities during the design process and during the testing process of our public transport infrastructure. If we can find a solution that works for Mark, we can invariably find a solution that works for everybody, and those solutions not just help people getting to work, but help people to connect socially and provide the community with a broader benefit.
Mark and Natalie, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.